Okay, so I work at a fast food restaurant. Well, worked. Currently, I can't even stand in one spot for 10 minutes without nearly losing my balance. Anyways, so I was scheduled to work on the last day of school, my final day of my final year of high school. After that day, I was free. Finally. But did I really want to spend it working 4 to 10 at a fast food place, dealing with angry customers and getting salt all over my hands? No. No, I did not. So what was my genius plan of getting out of it? Calling in sick and then going to hang out with my friends. So the school day ended, and after our plans of going bowling got canceled, my friends and I decided to hang out at one of their houses. We'd chill, eat some food, and play a game we were all pretty excited for since it just came out. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, and we were all pretty pumped to play it. So we made our way over to the house and got the VR set up in their game room, and we all took turns playing different sections of the game. I chose to stick to playing the FNAF 2 levels because personally I love FNAF 2. So I was playing the game and I was doing great. Granted, a few things did make me scream and want to curl up into a ball and cry, but I still did amazing. Then it was time to go into hard mode. Hell yeah, I could do this. After spending the past few hours playing this game with my friends, seeing just how easy these levels actually were, hard mode couldn't have been any different. I flipped the switch in the game, switching it into this trippy land of nightmares. I quickly went to the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 levels and selected the first one. I had full confidence. I got warped into the office of the second game and everything was trippier and scary. The night was going great for about an hour into it. The animatronics kept coming at me, but I did pretty okay deflecting them. Then he came. Down the hall stood none other than the main bear himself, Toy Freddy. The large, plastic, scary as shit bear walked towards me. I stood there with full confidence. I knew how to stop him. I looked at the Freddy mask on my desk and then stared at Toy Freddy dead in his eyes, prepared for anything. He seemed to smirk at me as he waited just outside the doorway. I waited for his white pupils to appear on the screen. I held my hand over the mask ready. Then he appeared right in front of me. His large body towered over me and I froze. And for what reason? I don't know. I knew it was too late to save myself, so I looked away, twisting my body away from him, and then it happened. Pop. I fell to the ground, the VR mask still on my face, and I saw nothing. I sat on the floor for a second, trying to process what had just happened. The game was still running. I sat there, silent as my knee began to throb. It felt like all the blood in my body rushed to my knee and everything else grew cold. I began screaming, words not being able to form from my mouth. I was blind, and I had no idea what was wrong. All I knew is that my knee hurt like absolute hell, and I couldn't move. Soon my friends removed the mask from my face and took the controllers from my hands and sat by me as I screamed. It took me a few minutes to work up the courage to do it, but I finally looked at my knee, and to my horror, my knee was dislocated. I screamed more, terrified of what happened to my leg, and I began hyperventilating. What the hell was I supposed to do in this situation? I looked at my friends, and they weren't sure what to say. All they could do was comfort me. Soon enough, an ambulance came, took me to the hospital, and popped my knee back into place. And after spending a few days doing physical therapy, I found out I needed surgery because I completely tore my ligament and my kneecap was still a little out of place. And now, after surgery, I get to chill at home and recover. So, yeah, I played a game I love and dislocated my knee from getting scared from it. Turns out, knee problems runs in my family, so it was inevitable to happen to me at some point. Should I have gone to work that day? Probably. But if it was going to happen on that day no matter where I went, I'm glad it happened while I was with my friends rather than at work. Will I play the game ever again? Probably not, because honestly, that experience was terrifying. Imagine getting scared of a game so bad to the point that you twist to look away, pop your kneecap out of place, fall, and are blind for the next minute or so, screaming in pain. I wouldn't want to touch that game ever again. Though, I still enjoy the other games in the franchise, I think I'd rather watch others play it than ever play it again myself. That goes for any other horror games too. So, yeah, that's my story of how I dislocated my knee while playing Five Nights at Freddy's. It was definitely a crazy and a horribly painful experience. But I was with my friends, and in the end, it turned out okay.